Welcome to US Rail Journeys. Series 1, Episode 1, Travelling from London to San Francisco. My bags are packed and in the hall. My wife is about to drive me to Heathrow for the first stage in this series of rail journeys across the United States. Flight is 11 hours and takes off at 10 past 2 in the afternoon. That means that we arrive in San Francisco at 10 past 5 in the afternoon. Now, San Francisco is 8 hours behind the UK. So that arrival at 5:10 p.m. means, of course, it's 1:10 a.m. for those of you in the UK, which means it's getting late. And then, of course, by the time I get to my hotel and get into my hotel room, which I imagine will be about 8 p.m. San Francisco time, it's the equivalent of 4 a.m. UK time, so my body clock will feel that it's becoming a very late night. So here we are just outside Terminal 5 at Heathrow, ready for the start of our trip. I'm now going to go and check in and dump my baggage. So now I'm in Terminal 5, in the main check-in area. Being mid-Saturday morning, I suppose, is the reason why it's relatively civilised in here. I'm very used to coming through here when, on a Monday morning, there are hordes of people commuting, maybe round to domestic airports in Britain or abroad, say to Europe, as I used to do quite often. At the moment, it's actually quite nice and peaceful in here. I've just been to the currency shop and picked up my cash for my journey. I always pre-book it because you get a far better rate than if you just turn up and pay on the day. And that can save you quite a lot of money. In real terms, get you quite a lot more foreign currency. This is Terminal 5, and for those of you that haven't ever been here, this is quite a large check-in area. It's on the top floor of the building and takes up about half of the whole of the top floor. The nice thing about Terminal 5 is that there are windows everywhere, so that you can see all over the airport.
With passengers George and Ashley Lamb travelling on the BA1448, please make a way to check-in desk 840.
Just before that announcement, I was about to say, so my next step is to go and hand my bag in and go through security. Well, I got through security relatively quickly. It's always nice when you get out of security if nobody actually asks you if they can check your bags. So here I am in the main thoroughfare of Terminal 5. In front of me there's Burberry, there's Cartier, there's Tiffany & Co, Hermes, Gucci, Fortnum & Mason. There's also Harrods. Very, very high-end shops. And the question you ask is, how many people actually go and spend a fortune? I'd be fascinated to know. Or is it just very expensive advertising that they're looking at? Anyway, Terminal 5 is now thronging with people. I'm on a trip, and you're coming with me, to San Francisco, where for a few days we'll be looking around the city, and then we'll be on our train to Portland in Oregon. That's the first train of the 3 that I'm taking. And so I've now reached Terminal 5C. I came across on the train that runs under the taxiways. Lots of planes being serviced at the current time, with the Gate Gourmet trucks turning up to put the food on. Well, I say food, it's the food, the duty-frees, the drinks and all the other things that, of course, one's going to get on one's long-haul flight to wherever one's going. We must remember, of course, that this is BA's own terminal and that BA are a true full-service airline. I'm now at the east side of Terminal 5C. In front of me I can see Terminal 3. Terminal 3 is probably the most international, if we're talking about different airlines, of all the terminals here at Heathrow. On my left I can see Gate 64, C64 that I'm just leaving from in a few minutes, and the Airbus A380 that I've got to join the queue and board. Where I'm sat in my seat and preparing myself for takeoff and our 11-hour flight all the way to San Francisco. After a very gloomy morning when I left home, the sun is finally coming out, and of course once we get above the clouds the sun will be permanently out for the rest of our journey. After a slight delay, waiting for some passengers that the American authorities had asked for a secondary check on, we're now pushing back. The engines are just spooling up.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to have teamed up with Comic Relief to bring you our new Flying Start safety video. It does contain important information about your safety on board with us today. Please may we ask that you remove any personal headphones and watch carefully. If you do have any questions, please ask one of your crew. All handheld devices, including mobile phones, must now be in flight safe mode or switched off and held securely or placed into a pocket. Larger devices, including laptops, must be switched off and stowed away safely. During the flight, all electronic devices must be disconnected from the seat power socket when not in use. And as a reminder, smoking is not permitted at any time whilst on board. If you are sitting in a front row seat, an emergency exit row, or in our first or Club World cabins today, all video screens must be returned to their original position after the safety briefing, but you may still listen to our selection of audio programs during takeoff. It is a requirement that all window blinds are open for takeoff, so if you are seated by a window, could we ask you to ensure that the window blind is in the open position? Thank you.
Okay, so you're here to audition for a part in the British Airways safety information video. Can you just look into the camera and give your name, please?
Hi, I'm Chiwetel Ejiofor.
And have you done any safety videos before?
No, only feature films.
Well, this could be your big break, okay, mate? So don't mess it up. Shall we get one in the can, guys? Okay, action!
We will now demonstrate the safety features on this aircraft.
Bit of a show off.
Take out your hand baggage does not block the aisles or exit. It must be put under the seat in front of you or in an overhead locker. Place items in the lockers.
All exits are clearly marked and are being pointed out to you now.
Wow, that was beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
Please carry on, Sandy.
Tandy.
Sandy.
But for your comfort and safety, we recommend you keep your seatbelt fastened and visible at all times.
To release the mask. And please, please, do make sure your own mask is fitted before helping anyone else.
That was so wonderful.
Oh.
Yeah, you'll get the pass.
You think so? I hope so.
Thanks.
Your life jacket is underneath or beside your seat. To inflate, pull the red toggle as shown. Now, the air in this rather wonderful jacket can be topped up by using this neat little mouthpiece. There's also a charming whistle and light combination for attracting attention, should you be one of those people who enjoys attention.
Okay, please now ensure that your seat is upright and in the takeoff position with armrest down.
Any personal devices with flight safe mode should have this feature enabled now. Take care your device does not get lost within your seat. If it does, please don't move your seat, but let one of your cabin crew know.
Smoking is not permitted anywhere whilst on board, and this includes the washrooms, which are fitted with smoke detectors. E-cigarettes are not permitted either.
Oh, and wizard pipes, eh?
Oh, good point, yes. Wizard pipes are completely out.
Spot on.
Dead, that's a wrap.
On behalf of British Airways, Comic Relief and Flying Start,
Thank you for your attention and your kind donations.
Every penny of which will help children all over the world.
Living really tough lives.
If you have any questions or you can't find your safety card,
Or Flying Start envelope.
Please, ask one of your gorgeous cabin crew members.
Have an enjoyable flight.
That's what that is. It's a recording device. I'm making a catalogue of my holiday.
Okay.
So it's going to be a podcast that's where
so
I
now I'm on it.
No, we'll edit you out.
Oh, fabulous. Oh, nice one. Oh, good idea.
So, safety briefing over. We're now taxiing across Heathrow in the sunlight of the afternoon. We're now reaching the east end of Heathrow Airport because we're just getting opposite to the BA maintenance hangars. I have no idea how many aircraft there are in front of us. I'm going to leave this running so that as we take off, you'll hear the roar of the engines.
Thank you very much, cabin crew. Please take your seats for takeoff.
Those two dongs mean that we're the next flight to depart. You will hear us accelerate. We're airborne. That dong tells you that we're past the point where, if anything goes wrong, we have difficulties. So we're now safely in the air and on our way to San Francisco. So we're 4 hours into our flight now, and we've got 6 hours and 11 minutes remaining, and we're just coming up to Karatsfjord, which is somewhere, I think, in Greenland. It is absolutely beautiful looking out of the window. We can see mountains completely covered in snow, and then of course the sea with mini icebergs floating in it. We're now heading over the Cascade Range of mountains, over Oregon and into San Francisco. We now have 34 minutes until we land, so the crew is locking down the aircraft. We're at 37,000 feet and currently travelling at 588 miles per hour. The outside temperature is minus 67 degrees Fahrenheit. And so we've just landed at San Francisco Airport on a bright, sunny Saturday afternoon. The aircraft is slowing rapidly. Okay, so now I'm off the aircraft. It's quite a walk to Immigration and Customs, and I'm hoping that the queue isn't too long. Good news is that it wasn't a long queue, and I got through Immigration and Customs pretty quickly. I'm going to go outside now to the front of the airport just to see what the weather's like, see how nice and warm it is, and then I'll be off for my train on the BART system. And now I'm at the BART, or Bay Area Rapid Transport Station, waiting for my train, which has just pulled in, and I'll be getting onto it, and then we'll be departing down into the centre of the city where I'm staying. One tip I found was that as I count as a senior or old age pensioner, I'm able to buy a cheap ticket costing only $9 for a return airport to city and back again, which I think is very good value. If you've ever travelled on the London Underground, you'll be familiar with the deafening squeal of noise coming from the wheels of the train. Well, in the BART system, this is much, much noisier. So do beware, take your earplugs with you if you're going to use this form of transport, which I have to say is highly efficient to get you from the airport into the city centre. I would like to thank the crew of BA 287 on the 23rd of September who made my flight to San Francisco so enjoyable. This podcast has been made by the Mr. T Podcast Studio. Thank you very much for listening.